I'm going to show you how to make the crispiest chicken in the air fryer.
You're not going to believe this. All-you-can-eat barbecue starting at $28.50. I went on a Saturday and it...
Do you find yourself scrolling on Instagram? And then you get a few consecutive reels telling you to try a new restaurant, recipe, or diet? It all just gets so overwhelming. I find myself questioning whether I should follow these recommendations from food influencers. But after a few days or weeks, I go out of my way to try that quote-unquote hidden gem. I recall going to a restaurant promoted by a food influencer. The restaurant itself ended up being very underwhelming to me. I realize now how much influence they had on me.
Well, the thing is with influence is it's really not a new concept. Social influence has been around as long as humans have been social, which, spoiler alert, has been our entire history.
That's Bailey Parnell, the founder and CEO of Skills Camp. She also owns the Center for Digital Wellbeing, where they help people to have a better relationship with technology. She describes what influencers are.
There are things that make people more influential in your life, and they happen to be hyper-focused on those networks. For example, the closer you feel to someone, if they feel like a family member or a friend to you, the more likely you are to be influenced by them. Of course, when someone's talking to you like very casually and they're talking to their screen just like this on, say, Instagram or on TikTok, even though they're broadcasting to many people, it feels like they're talking directly to you, even on a subconscious level. So this is something that's in the technology that would probably actually increase someone's influence.
Essentially,
everyone is an influencer, regardless if you have a social media following or not. Word of mouth is so powerful, especially to your friends and family. And an influencer is essentially someone who persuades you to do something based on a recommendation or the lifestyle they portray, which is term is now coined an influencer for social
media. Today, we're going to talk about how influencers impact our food choices. I first spoke with Brenda Yim.
I'm a recent Master of Management graduate, as well as I have a background in food market analysis. I'm now a project manager at Crew Marketing Agency, and after hours, I am a food content creator managing Pistachio Pay. My Instagram is really a gateway for me to understand a little bit more about being Canadian as well as being from Hong Kong. So I was able to bridge that gap through learning about food in different cultures and just bring stories from my family onto my platform.
In her recent posts, she shared a few downtown Vancouver restaurants.
The best 3-course menu deal in downtown Vancouver. For $60 per person, you can choose between a citrusy pear and burrata salad or a duck rillette.
I then went out to the world to hear what others think about food influencers.
I would say, I guess this is a job that satisfies a lot of people who are on diet. Like sometimes for me, because I was on diet for a time.
Big fan of food, I suppose. Big fan of cooking and big fan of trying new food places as well. So yeah, I really enjoy watching and following food influencers on social media.
I think it's a bit complex. It could go both ways. Handling food and how you talk about it can be very either harmful, and it's a very sensitive topic. So I honestly haven't really looked at food influencers, so I don't really have a clear answer, but thinking about them, it's a very complex thing, so yeah.
So most people are consciously aware of why food content is created, whether it is for a job or for people to enjoy. But what about the relationship we have with the influencer? To what extent do we follow them and eventually mirror their eating habits and behavior? I spoke with Anna Dosick, a lecturer at the University of British Columbia in the sociology department. She explains what a parasocial relationship is.
It's a one-sided relationship where someone feels as if they are emotionally connected to and emotionally invested in someone, but that person doesn't know. So it's something that happens to be quite common when we think about people on social media, where someone who actually doesn't know the person feels as if they do know them because they happen to see a lot into their life.
This unique relationship affects us in different ways, but it could also be detrimental.
After that, it's one of those things where it can cause people to feel like they have a connection with them, which then may actually motivate them to act in certain ways to do certain things. So it can sometimes cause like mirroring in behavior or copying of behavior. I might just be like, oh yeah, I saw this and it looks like a great place to eat. Like I'm going to go there on my next date night or something. But then for other people, it may be one of those things like I want to go to this place and I'm hoping I'm going to see this person, but then they end up spending more money than they actually can afford to lose.
So it's the motivation behind going out of our way to try what we saw on social media, whether it's a new restaurant, recipe, or diet. Anna notes there's a fine line between admiring someone and potentially emulating their behavior, then possibly turn into an obsession where we assume they are our best friend. With this generation, many are often using social media more than it is intended. We may or may not know the behaviors we've picked up from following influencers. Whether it is a good behavior or bad behavior, Bailey emphasizes that
social media is a risky behavior, kind of like sex or drugs or alcohol or even driving. And in psychology, we judge a risky behavior pretty simply as something where when you participate, you expose yourself to potential harm.
Brenda is aware of this too. Rather than chasing numbers this year, she reframes her goal.
Last year I had a little bit of a burnout with content creation. I just want to remind myself, like, there's a reason why I started this account, and I really want to dedicate it to things I want to eat, and I'll just document that experience. It's really hard not to chase the numbers or compare. However, from just reminding myself, I want to eat this, I'm going to make it. And I think that is the content that I really want to push out this year.
We also cannot forget the prominent issue with food influencers. That is diet culture. Lizzie, a dietitian who recently graduated from the UBC dietetics program, shares her concerns.
I think it is something that, that's kind of ingrained to you, even as a child. Like, I think back now to my childhood and things that have been said to me that I realize now are very diet culture-y, like the hierarchy of food, like, oh, candy's bad, eat your vegetables first and a dessert later. These are all like actually diet culture. And so I think overall, now growing up, I see all of this, and it's really has affected the way that many people make their food choices, and especially more predominant in people who are at risk, are more predisposed to, or especially, those who may have some disordered eating habits or maybe have predisposed to eating disorders that runs in the family. So, all kind of things can then trigger or affect our eating behaviors and eating habits.
Social media makes diet culture a predominant issue since anyone can share things online and call themselves an expert, and as well influence you to diet. It's important to note that everyone has their own opinion on food and health.
Because it's something that we do every single day, right? So people tend to have their own opinions towards things. It's so common that it's not considered a specialty, I would say, compared to something like you're building a bridge. Then you would ask like an engineer for that kind of advice. I obviously can't say anything about it because I never experienced it day to day, but for something like nutrition, like I find that's why people can give a lot of opinions as well.
So what now? We can form this complex parasocial relationship with influencers. We're influenced whether we know it or not. Social media can be detrimental to our psychological health. Should we even be online? We can't go cold turkey with social media, can we? How do we navigate being on social media? Lizzie offers these 3 tips when following food influencers. Number 1, look for credibility.
What kind of degree do they have? What kind of credential they have behind after their name? Which is the first thing you typically see someone's profile as well, or if you're even looking on like LinkedIn or something. NBC, only dietitians can use the words registered dietitian or RD or dietitian. No one else is able to do that.
Number 2, check their overall content.
Does it align with your own values and your own goals? Is this something that you're looking for? Is their content actually based on actual evidence and research that they've done themselves, or is it kind of more just based on own personal experiences and anecdotal history?
Number 3, sponsorships.
Are they actually sponsored by a company or some kind of product? You know, what kind of product they're promoting?
Food influencers are not the only ones trying to persuade you. There are other types of influencers, such as family influencers and fashion influencers. Bailey points out that it is their responsibility in promoting and sharing these things, as well as
social networking companies themselves have some responsibility to make sure that these spaces are safe. If there's, say, something going around that's telling people to eat Tide Pods, maybe we should reanalyze this. And if people are actually doing it and influencers are promoting it, I mean, there's accountability all around.
Funny enough, influencers don't know how much impact they have on their followers and viewers.
Even though someone saves the video, shares it with a friend, they may not even go. So that's why I find influencing very interesting. You don't really know what degree do you influence. It's mainly just awareness. You're not actually converting, which is when someone actually goes to the restaurant, says your name, because of this video. No one knows. Yeah. Which is why I try not to put too much pressure on myself. If I'm able to share some information, someone remembers it from my video, if at least one person, that's already influencing.
The bottom line is social media is risky business. We should be mindful of what we consume online and physically, as it all impacts our overall health. The first and foremost is to take care of ourselves offline before going online. We know our bodies and taste preferences better than anyone else, so let's just take each post as a grain of salt. And hey, if you like the recommendation from an influencer, maybe take them and thank them for it.